Welcome back to another episode of the Screen Addicts podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Cinema Ocho Steven Sosa.
And I am your other co-host, Chris. It's our anniversary, Viegas.
Happy anniversary. I labeled this
Happy
as birthday. I should have done.
birthday?
I should have said anniversary. No, you're right. I titled it the Screen Addicts 8th birthday, but it's the anniversary. I don't know why I thought that the Screen Addicts was a living embodiment that deserved a birthday. But no, you are
I
right.
mean,
It is.
it's the same thing. I
I
mean,
suppose so.
technically.
I suppose so. But yeah, you are technically right. It's our 8th anniversary. It's been 8 long years. And I know that it's our year anniversary because from the very first episode, it's always our summer movie preview. The very
It
first
is.
episode we ever did. And let me be honest with you, man. I actually went back and listened to our very first episode this last week.
Ooh, why would you do
Oh,
that?
my poor ears. It was so rough, man. The audio capture was just brutal, and I think we did that on Skype. We recorded
Yeah.
it off of a Skype session, and oh, it was bad. It was just so bad, and I sounded like I was in an echo chamber in an echo chamber. You actually sounded pretty good, so I guess it was because the host feed was working out better for you. But me, I was like, it was so
Did
bad.
you even have a mic then?
Yeah, I had that tiny
Did
little
you?
blue snowball one, just that little one that sits on like the 3 legs. It was the tiniest one.
Yeah.
But I guess it was just it had to have been through Skype, the way that it was modified because it's not set up the way that it is now. I'm sure if we did it on Skype with all of the updates that they've done in 8 years, Skype would probably sound pretty good now. But at the time, I think that they were just trying new stuff out, and we were trying new stuff out. And I
Yeah.
mean, we kind of have to give a shout out to all of the services that we used along the way. We had that Razcaster treated us pretty well for a while there. And what was the other one that we
It
used?
started with an M, didn't it?
I don't know. That's when you were
I
like
don't
really
remember.
heavy on the tech front, as far as our hosting and stuff.
Yeah.
We never did StreamYard, did we? Did we use a StreamYard?
We used StreamYard for
StreamYard.
like a couple months.
Yeah,
That
because
didn't work out too well.
that's when we
So
were trying to do like the live
the
Facebook Live
lives,
stuff, right?
yeah,
Yeah, that was funny. And we realized that we were recording so late on a weekday that nobody was really up at 10 o'clock on a Tuesday night to do
yeah.
the live. But I mean, we still had pretty good interactions. We'll have to do that one of these days to just kind of randomly throw out a live episode like the good old days, man. But that was funny.
And if I remember correct too, even our first episode was without Jeremy, right? It was just me and you.
Yeah, it was just us, and we did a summer movie preview. We had a countdown of everything that was coming out in the summer of
Mhm.
2016, and
Damn.
listen to some of our picks, and I was just like, "Oh my god!" There's like sequels to those movies now that are old, and it's funny. It's crazy to think that this has gone on for 8 years, man. It's just, I mean,
Jeez.
what a journey it's been so far, but 8 years.
Absolutely.
And also give a shout out to some of the people that and some of the other shows that we were friends with a long time ago. And man,
Hmm.
I say that, what was that, like a collective group that we had on Twitter of podcasts that I would say about out of the 40 shows, man, I'd say about like 12 are still standing. So
Maybe not even that, dude.
maybe
Maybe
not even
I
that.
think like five.
Yeah.
That still just plug away like we do. I think uh Peter, it
Yeah.
was one of them.
Yeah.
But his show's totally different show from when we first met him in that group. So I mean,
Right.
he's still doing a podcast, but not that original show.
Hmm.
And I think everybody else just kind of fallen off. I don't.
Disbanded, man. That's so
Yeah,
crazy. But hey, that's just kind of the thing. It's like I love doing it, so it's easy to do. It's fun to do. And it's like you
yeah,
always said, we just talk about this stuff anyway. So why not record about the stuff that we watched?
that's right.
And speaking of the stuff that we watched, you recently watched our first segment, so please
Okay.
do share.
Oh yes, recently watched, man. Busy end of the year, of course. End of the school year, not into the actual year.
Mhm.
So a lot of stuff going on, graduations, parties, graduation parties, getting the kids all wrapped up. So not a lot of time for some TV. We did get in a few shows. Um, we watched the season finale of American Idol,
Oh.
which it was a good finale. I'm very pleased with who won. I'm not going to spoil it because it was just this last week. So, in case you haven't watched it yet, I will not say who won. Um, Also, watched the latest episode of Under the Bridge.
Mm.
Um, the show I kind of touched on it before.
Mhm.
Still pretty good. I think we're one episode away from the finale, so can't wait till that one wraps up. I'm interested to see how things play out with that guy. And
Mhm.
then I will have to say the best show I've been watching as of late. Um, is old X-Men 97, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm only like 4 episodes in,
Yeah.
but damn, it's good.
It is good.
Damn, it's good. Uh, the storyline is freaking amazing,
Mhm.
and you know how much it pains me to say that I love a Marvel property, but I mean,
Let go of that hate.
it's X-Men, so it's a little different. Um, and just the animation style, going back to the 90s animation style, is perfect. And like I said, the storyline is freaking awesome. Whoever wrote this series, keep doing it. And I think
Mhm.
it's already been greenlit for the next 2 or 3 seasons, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's in the
Yeah.
green.
Yeah. So, but as for me, that is all I have watched recently, man. Hopefully, summer is here, so the boys will want to go to the movies a lot more, and I think they are actually going to they're going to start off their summer movie season. They're going to go watch some Big Fat Orange Cat this weekend.
Oh, yeah, Garfield, huh?
Yep. So,
It's so crazy. I forgot that Chris Pratt is voicing Garfield too. I'm like, this dude voices everybody. Emmett from the Lego movie, Mario in the Super Mario Brothers movie. Now he's
hmm,
Garfield. Like, how lucky. Get to voice all these great
damn,
characters.
yeah.
But yeah, okay. Well, what I really only saw two movies. We started The Fall Guy because it was finally on streaming, but I'll get into that with headlines. But haven't finished that one yet. I did watch the remake of Wrong Turn, which is on Paramount Plus. And if anybody remembered Wrong Turn from, I'd say 2003 with Elijah Dushku, where and Emmanuel Shrieky and Jeremy Sisto, when they all go out and they get stuck in I guess it's like the Virginia backwoods or something. All those like
Yeah.
evil, crazy redneck hillbilly mutated hybrid monsters were after him and stuff. And this one's a remake of that, but this one was a little bit more of a serious approach to it. Although it had the original writer, this one had a group of friends going out into the wilderness. It's like the Virginian wilderness, and what they are actually being attacked by are a group of like a survivalist cult, and people that were really protective of their lands and stuff. So they did bring a little bit of seriousness to it, which I actually thought was okay. It wasn't that bad of a movie. um it got flushed by a lot of people. I think that's what people were anticipating, were the crazy mutated hillbillies, but they didn't get that. They got something a little bit more serious, and I thought it was fine. Watched The Lady Killers, the Tom Hanks Coen Brothers movie that was released 20 years ago for its 20th anniversary. Rewatched that. I think it's funny. I really like that movie. It's a really bizarre and odd flick. And when I posted something about it online, people were like, "I don't remember this movie. When did this came out 20 years? I don't even remember this 20 years ago." Tom Hanks was in this movie, and basically Tom
Hmm.
Hanks plays this Southern professor, Professor Goldthwait Higginson Dole. He's a very educated man who he is the ringleader of a group of robbers and thieves, and they coerce themselves into this sweet old lady's house, played by Irma P. Hall, and they're basically using her home as a way to dig a tunnel to this casino, this like riverboat casino, and they're going to rob the casino, and all this crazy stuff just happens, and I don't know. I think it's funny. I don't know why it got a lot of hate when it originally came out, but it is what it is. Um, saw a couple of TV shows this week. We picked up Barry again because I remembered Sonia and I had watched the first 2 seasons, loved the show, and then when season 3 premiered a couple of years ago, we just never watched it. I was excited for it. I love the first 2 seasons, but we just never watched it. So season 3 and 4 are out because the show's no longer on. It's already concluded. We finished season 3 um just tonight actually and started the final season. Dude, that show is fantastic. I love that show. I cannot believe I didn't finish it. I was into it then, I'm really into it now. It's an easy watch too. It's only like 8 episodes with 30 minutes per episode. It's on HBO Max. Um, finished Chucky, the newest season of Chucky on Peacock. I've gotta tell you, man, if you're a fan of Child's Play and that entire franchise, that entire storyline, this show is for you. It is such a great show. It's so funny. It's so gruesomely gory. I'm shocked it's on USA, but then again, they don't care anymore. Past like 10 o'clock, they'll show anything and everything. And it lives up to the character standards of, I mean, the entire franchise. I guess this was season 3 that just finished, and they got renewed for a season 4. So I'm looking forward to that. We watched the finale of Survivor, and oh my god, man, uh, this has to be one of the worst seasons of Survivor I've seen in a really long time. The the competitors were terrible. I Did you watch it? You haven't started it yet, have you?
No, I haven't. I have not.
Yeah. It, dude, it's so bad. I don't know. It just wasn't Survivor to me because the competitors were so weak. They were so dumb. And I can't even begin. They set so many records, but for all the wrong reasons. It's like a tribe that went the most days without Flint. That's not good because that means you're not winning any challenges. There was
No
a
shit.
It had the most um in the pocket like people carrying an idol that didn't cash them in, that got voted out, had the most people that had it that got voted out with an idol in their pocket, basically. I think it was like 4 or 5. I'm like, what the frick?
Oh,
How are you gonna
dumbasses.
like not play this? This is insane. And then of course the winner that was revealed last night isn't a bad person, but undeserving, massively undeserving. And it just it was just so I'm just glad this season's over and I'm hoping that next season's a lot better. But um, other than that, man, I'm gonna go see Furiosa this weekend. Looking forward to that. I definitely have to go see it before my mom visits from Texas because she will have no interest in going to see that movie.
Mhm.
So I definitely have to sneak that in there before she gets into town. I I saw that like Challengers was on demand, and there's a lot of movies on demand right now that I want to see, but I just have to make time to watch them. But um, yeah, that's all I had for
Oh,
Oh,
dude, I totally forgot. I recently watched a movie I watched because my wife hadn't watched it, and it's a movie we talked about last week, and we
oh,
watched Drop Dead Fred.
yes! Oh, that's right, you sent that picture. Where was that on your backyard or something?
Yeah, I was in my
Your
backyard.
backyard barbecue or something? Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Did it
Oh
hold up to
man,
your standards?
I freaking loved it. She hated it, of course.
"This is stupid.
Oh yeah, dude.
Why did she not
This
watch
is
that
this
growing
is
up?"
well because she's a sheltered child. I don't
Oh, I
know.
got you. That
There's a
makes
lot
sense.
of movies she's never watched, but um, I had my cousin Travis over here. He's like, "I love that movie. Let's watch
Yeah.
it." I was like, "Dude, let's
V
do it."
validation.
Yes. So,
Did the boys watch
uh,
it?
the oldest one did. He thought it
Mhm.
was pretty funny.
Okay, good. That's
Oh,
good.
dude, and of course, he's a 15-year-old boy, and he's all like, the best part of the movie when he was no panties, no
No panties.
panties.
That sounds about right.
Oh man, but
That's awesome.
I freaking love that movie. It's still
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
So, but that's it on recently watched.
Okay, sounds good. Well, now on to headlines. So the first headline I had here was the Fall Guy is already out on digital release. Now,
Damn.
this proves a lot of things and none of them are good. It was released in theaters just 3 weeks ago. this is the summer movie season, man, and it kicked off the summer movie season, and it's already on streaming. That means that it was a box office failure, which it was. So they fast tracked it to digital because they started to realize like a lot more people were renting the movie at home. They were paying $20 at home to get how many ever people to watch the movie in the comfort of their own home on their nice sound systems and stuff. So this movie's actually setting a very bad precedent for movie theaters because then they're starting to think, well, why don't we just bypass the movie theater option altogether? Because studios don't care how movies are being shown as long as they're making some kind of financial compensation for it. If it all has to come to streaming, then they'll do that. And it's just it's scary. It's a scary notion for what could happen to the theaters because man, growing up, you remember when we were young,
Mhm.
it was like a movie that was in the theaters, you wouldn't get to see it at home on VHS or even DVD for like 6 months to a year.
Oh,
it
yeah.
was it was a long time. That's why movies stayed in the theaters for so long because once they're out of there, that's it. You're not gonna get to see it for a while. And now it's like
Mhm.
whittled down from a year to 3 weeks. That was baffling to me that it was already there. And I think, like I said, it was already a box office disaster. So that's probably
Mhm.
why they fast tracked it. One other, speaking of potential box office disasters, they have the Horizon, an American saga, the Kevin Costner co-written and directed two-part film that will be released in July and September, respectively. That first part is 3 hours long. I thought, oh
Holy
my
shit.
god! And then I think the second part it's going to be like 3.5 hours long, and it premiered at one of the film festivals, and of course, people gave Kevin Costner a standing ovation because he was there and they just, you know how that stuff goes. Just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
complimenting one
They were
another, patting
they
each
were all
other's
plants.
well, yeah. Well, it's also studio people too that either worked with him or knew of him or
Mhm.
just are in the business themselves. So it's a lot of self gratification there. But I think what I've read from critical reviews is that the movie is just a glorified picture of blah, and it's boring. There's not a lot that happens. It's made for an older demographic who don't really go to the movies anymore. Maybe that's the point. They're going to pull some of these people out of their homes to go see the movie. But yeah, they're saying that it's a very big, robust glory hound piece, and that's not good. And
Mhm.
seeing the trailer, I was like, "Oh, this looks interesting." I like westerns. I haven't seen a western in a really long time. I was talking to Jeremy about that, and he's like, "Oh my god." He's like, "He's gonna kill the western for once and for all. He might just kill the western." And a lot of these production companies may not want to make anymore. I think Taylor Sheridan, the creator of Yellowstone, he um,
Mhm.
he seems to be the only one that has a really good forefront on or a grasp of the old west, whether it's in a contemporary setting with Yellowstone or something of a historical nature like 1885 or whatever it was in 1923, because those are pretty critically renowned shows on Paramount. But
Yeah.
it's and I think a lot of people forget that Kevin Costner doesn't write or direct or produce Yellowstone. He just stars in it. So I think he used that as a way to like as a conduit to get his movie made. I think he pitched it to Warner Brothers saying, "Hey, yeah, I'm a creative force behind Yellowstone. I helped do a lot of that. So let's get this movie made." And I don't know. What do you think,
It
man?
ain't happening. I think my dad's gonna love it.
Right, right. Yeah. I think Sonya's dad's gonna love it, but
There you go.
I don't know. Like I said, target demo. But I like westerns too, man. And I just
Yeah.
don't. I don't really. I don't know. It was funny because I remember when we were in graduating high school, and American Outlaws had come out, and they basically made that like an action movie, kind of like trying to be like a new Young Guns, had this like
Right.
MTV style flavor to it where it was very unrealistic, but it was just young actors playing these parts. But it was just a fun movie, and you'll never get to see anything like that again.
Do do you remember the last Western you actually went to go see in the theater?
I can't remember the last one that even came out in the theaters, man. I think maybe Hostiles with Christian Bale and Rosamund Pike and Wes
Mhm.
Duty, your boy from Last of the Mohicans, where
Yeah.
Christian Bale plays a guy that has to transport Wes Duty. He's a Native American to I don't know, like it's kind of weird. It almost seemed like it stole his own plot line from 310 to Yuma, which was another um, western that came out in the theaters. I will tell you the best western that I had seen in recent year was Bone Tomahawk with Kurt Russell.
Ooh, that one
Um,
is good.
that was a, but that was like a, I saw that on, streaming because it wasn't. I never
Yeah.
saw it in the theaters, but I guess I would have to say the last one that I can remember seeing in the theaters was Hostiles, which was a good movie, but
What year
oof,
was that? A couple
like
years back?
20, yeah, it was like 2016, I want to say 2015, 2016,
Mm.
maybe earlier than that, but yeah, man, that was almost 10 years ago. Like I'm thinking about that now.
When the Screen Addict started.
Right. It's celebrating its 8th birthday too. But yeah, as far as headlines, man, that's all I had. Did you have any notes or anything that you saw?
Only couple things. We got a new trailer this week for
Mhm.
Beetlejuice,
Oh, yes.
which looked pretty damn good.
Yeah, it looks really
Oh
good.
man! And then we got a new trailer for Foley,
Foley, which one's that?
Axel Foley, Axel.
Oh, duh. Yeah. Oh, Axel F. Yeah, see, that's why I didn't know. Yeah,
Sorry.
that looks really good too. Well,
Yeah,
yeah, that was my number one pick for the summer
I was about to
movies.
say,
So
oh,
I'm
it
super
better look
excited.
good to you.
I'm super excited. Hey, let me ask you something about Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. I was talking about how I don't like want to call her out or anything, but I kind of feel like Jenna Ortega is really like stepping on the shoes of like Winona Ryder. First it was Christina Ricci with Wednesday, and now it's
Hmm.
like Winona Ryder and Beetlejuice, and she's like really kind of playing up this goth chick when she never really was before any of these movies. And Wednesday was a huge hit, so I kind of feel like, oh well, I've got to have to play this type of character now. Like this is who I'm known for. This is what I'm most popular for. So I have to cultivate this into my career where I'm playing these like offbeat, weird goth type of characters. And I don't know, it just seems kind of forced to me. It seems like a poser a little bit. I mean, am I off on that? Because
You're not off, man. The thing is, I think that is the climate today of entertainment in general. I mean, if you hear some of the really popular music right now, a bunch of it is like taking samples from old songs or remaking old songs. And then, of course, we've talked about in length about how they're remaking movies and and shows and stuff like that. And like it's like nobody has an original idea
right,
anymore.
so a lack of originality is the new flavor, I guess,
Oh
huh?
yeah.
I
Oh,
got you.
100%.
Yeah.
And the thing is that lack of originality, but these people are like, no, we did it better. And I'm like, no, the hell you didn't.
Right. I think that is more in the music industry because I don't think movies are really, you'll see press tours for stuff where people aren't going out and saying, "Oh, we're way better than the original." But you see that a lot in music. I think music nowadays there's this really competitive sense about how much better they are or how much better their remix version of a song is than it was back in the day. But
Hmm.
I don't know, I could be wrong. I don't really listen to a lot of like current pop top 40 radio music.
Except
Yeah,
Taylor Swift.
except Taylor Swift. But I mean, other than that, it's just like I guess it's mostly like the hip hop and R&B genre that has that kind of competitive notion. I mean, that's where a lot of the sampling comes from anyway,
Yeah.
and um but yeah, aside from that, I guess that kind of answers that about Jenna Ortega. And even in Scream, dude, like come on. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? I don't know. I just kind of feel like, oh, and I remembered one time when her and Aubrey Plaza were presenting an award together. Now, Aubrey Plaza was an actress who very much was living up to her character in Parks and Rec. Like, it seemed like that's how she kind of was to an extent in real life versus how she is in the show. And then her and Jenna Ortega are up there presenting together, and it seemed like Aubrey Plaza is just being weird Aubrey Plaza, and then Jenna Ortega is just like, oh well, I got to play weird because I'm basically the new you, and I don't know. I don't know why she bothers me so much. It's so weird.
But she's good. I
I
mean,
mean,
it's
yeah,
not like
she's
that
a good
she's
actress.
bad, but like, all right, Jenna, come up with your own
But
shtick
that's what I'm
there,
saying.
lady.
She's playing Wednesday like Christina Ricci played Wednesday. And Christina Ricci's even in the show. So she's basically like, okay, well, this is my template. I'm gonna work with that. I'm hoping
Yeah,
that based off her performance in because in Beetlejuice, she doesn't look like she's playing a Lydia Dietz character, or she's not playing how Winona Ryder was in the original movie. She seems like she's semi-normal and kind of just playing it
right.
straight because her mom is so bizarre that she ended up being normal. Because that's how it goes with your
Oh yeah,
kids. You're always going to be different from your parent, but it's always like your kids will be the same as your grandparents or something weird like that. It like skips a
right.
generation in terms of what you like. But I don't know. Mini rant over. So aside from those trailers, yeah, those look pretty good. And yeah, I guess we're going to go into our main topic, which we have
hmm
decided we were going to be ranking our top 3 favorite movies that feature the number 8 for the glorious 8th anniversary of the Screen Addicts podcast. Now, this 8 could be 8 individually. It could be like in the 80s. It could be in the 800s. It could be in the 8,000s. It could go all the way up to 8 millions, Chris, if you have a movie. I don't think there is one, but we'll have to see. But either
hmm
way, if the number 8 is featured in the title, it is in our top 3. So, sir, with those rules being set, you're number 3.
All right, my number three is going to go back to the 80s. 80s? I believe it's the 80s. And the 8 in the title with 8 Men Out.
Oh yeah,
The movie about the I get what were they called? The Black
the Black
Sox?
Sox. Yeah, that's what they
The
called
Black
the
Sox.
Chicago White Sox.
Yeah, but they got in some trouble, and this is the movie about how they got in trouble. And man, it is a damn good movie. If you it's one of those that if you're a baseball movie fan, you know about this movie because it's one of those that it's just like a rite of passage if you're a baseball movie fan. Oh, you have to watch this one. Kind of like
Mhm.
Sandlot or any Major League. Well, I don't say Major League. I don't want to compare Major League to 8 Men Out, but man, super good movie from the 80s. Um, if you haven't seen it, you need to go watch it. It it depicts this story pretty well. I believe they were gambling on themselves,
Mhm.
taking bets or betting whether they'd win, lose, stuff like that. And
Mhm.
they finally got caught, and
Yeah.
it's just a bunch of drama, and it's great. So,
You know what I think is so appealing about that movie that a lot of people who aren't baseball fans would be intrigued by the stories because of its true crime nature. I think an element of true crime really presents itself as super interesting to a lot of people regardless of the genre just because people
mhm.
like that stuff. And yeah, this was a heavy scandal. I mean, it's a true life story. It's a real scandal. These Chicago White Sox, they labeled them the Black Sox because of their illegal activity. And they started by with points and it just worked themselves all the way up into a major issue. And it's funny because rewatching Field of Dreams, they're basically the Chicago White Sox that can no longer play. So I'm like, I mean, are you still even as ghosts? I think that this is still wrong for you to be taking the field, you point shaving bastards. It's like, I don't know. I don't really find this as wholesome as I once did. But okay. And yeah, it had an early John Cusack in that movie too. And that is a really good
Yeah.
movie. I actually watched it after I watched Field of Dreams when I saw that in the theaters a couple of weeks ago because I was like, man, I haven't thought of 8 Men Out in a long time. So that's actually a really good pick. Very timely pick, Chris. Well
I'm
done.
telling you.
My
And,
oh, I'm sorry.
and I'm trying to think if I'm thinking right. It came out in '88.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know the actual year. I you said 80s? That worked for me because it could have been 88, it could have been 83. I don't even know, but yeah, I think 88 sounds right. I know that John Sayles wrote it, and John Sayles is such a
hmm
good writer. He wrote one of the best, like speaking of contemporary westerns, Lone Star from '96. God, that is an amazing movie that everybody should see. But I think he got nominated for an Academy Award for Eight Men Out too. I'm not really
Yeah.
sure, but
Fact checked it. 8 Men Out came out in '88.
my
So
man, look at you.
shoot, I'm
That's
on hitting it
88,
hot.
two eights in the year of release. Chris, that's a perfect pick, man.
That should have been number one. Damn it.
Number one. Well, we could just say all of them are released in some year eight.
Yeah.
My number three is the Nicolas Cage film 8 mm, which was a very eye-opening experience. Basically, he is a private investigator hired by a very rich woman to investigate this snuff film that was sent to her that features her granddaughter. And it was one of those movies where it was one of those hardcore snuff films where the daughter appears to be murdered in the film. So she hires Nicolas Cage as an investigator that he is to um, determine the validity of the film, the 8 mm print. So then he decides to go down into the S&M world that just to find answers, to figure out who would be able to do this, film it, distribute it, and all this and that. And of course, it had a younger Joaquin Phoenix in a role as a manager of this S&M shop who kind of introduces him into the seedy underworld. And it was actually a pretty good movie. I remember when it came out, and what's funny is it was directed by Joel Schumacher, and this is like way past Batman Forever, Batman and Robin, and we were like, Schumacher did this. This movie's so dark and grimy. What the hell? Why didn't he do that to Batman? Like, he went from Flatliners to The Lost Boys to Batman, all the way up to 8 mm. So it's like in between these pretty dark movies, even A Time to Kill, which was pretty dark. The Grisham adaptation, like he goes from all
Mhm.
these movies to like, oh, you're gonna make Batman lighthearted, bro. That's why you got the job, is because you have this sensibility about yourself. But it's a very interesting movie. I did enjoy it when it came out. Nicolas Cage, man, I'm a forever mark for the dude. And Jeremy, of course, is like the
Oh yeah.
biggest Nicolas Cage fan of all time. He still watches all of his new stuff. I was gonna watch his newest movie, that Arcadian, where he is a father with his two twin sons, and apparently there's like these weird monsters that
Mhm.
that come out at nighttime, and they just engulf the earth, so you have to like stay in your home. And he lives out in this countryside with his two sons, and it just looked really good. And critically, it's actually very well critically received from the fans and the critics. So I'm definitely going to be checking out Arcadian. But my number three is 8 mm.
Nice.
Okay, so my number two pick is, this probably should be my number one pick, but I just don't really think it has the legs yet. It's just more of a recent film. That would be
Mhm.
Quentin Tarantino's The Hateful Eight. Speaking of westerns, that might be the last one that I saw. Now that I think about it, I should have checked the damn dates. But while I'm looking this up, I am going to check the year of release for The Hateful Eight. I know it was actually pretty recent, so Hostiles might be a thing of the past. Okay, so it was 2015 when The Hateful Eight came out. And
Oh damn.
yeah, so that's a lot older than I thought too. But it basically serves itself as a stage play. I think that movie could work as a stage play. You have these eight characters, these eight cowboys, and one crazy person played by Jennifer Jason Leigh that's being transported to a jail, and they're stuck in this motel to due to a snowstorm. So they're all stuck in there, and then chaos ensues, just like it would in a natural Tarantino environment. And what they really
Mhm.
did that was awesome on Netflix was they did a Tarantino extended edition, but what they did was they released it in four parts. So it was basically a 4 hour movie, but each part consisted of 1 hour. And of course, it has the nonlinear storyline that Tarantino is known for. But I think The Hateful Eight is one of those movies. It's kind of like Jackie Brown, where people don't really talk about it whenever you're discussing Tarantino's filmography. It always gets overlooked, which I don't think it should. I think it's a great movie, just like all of his movies. But this one had a lot of crazy situations, had a callback to the Reservoir Dogs. How everybody's got a gun pointed at somebody and everybody gets pop, 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 and just gruesome, bloody style that he
Mhm.
is known for. Hateful Eight is a solid flick. I think it's still on Netflix. I think the 4 hour cut is on Netflix that you can watch it, and I heavily recommend that you do so. So it basically serves as a TV series as well. But yes, The Hateful Eight is my number two pick.
Man, I have to be honest. Like, I always get, for some reason, I get this one and the Magnificent Seven mixed up.
That's fair.
Um, and if I'm correct, I think they came out around the same time.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And so I was like, I watched one and I was like, did I watch this already? And just title, I mean, because it's given the only really similarities is I think they're both westerns.
Yeah.
Storyline and everything is kind of different, but um, I don't know why. I just always get those two mixed up.
Yeah, Magnificent Seven was 2016, so yeah, it was just the next
Hmm.
year that that came out. But the thing about the Magnificent Seven is that it's commercialized itself more in
Yeah,
a popular setting because it had Denzel Washington, had Chris Pratt, Ethan Hawke, like it had a lot of A-list stars in that movie. So it was almost like they
yeah,
were trying to pull off this Ocean's 11 Western version. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
even though the Magnificent Seven is a remake, I think that that's kind of what they were going for with that. And oh, you know what I'm thinking?
Hmm.
The Harder They Fall, or was that the name of that? The Harder They Fall with Idris Elba, the Western that came out on Netflix.
Yeah.
What was
I
that?
think that's what.
Oh my god, I have to look that up too because I'm starting to think like, what was the last what was the last Western? Yeah, The Harder They Fall with oh shit, Jonathan Majors was in that. He was in that, but
Ooh,
yeah, Idris Elba was also in that. That was 2021. So okay,
was that was that foreshadowing with Jonathan
I mean,
Majors?
shit, you're absolutely right. I didn't even think about that, but that was 2021. But technically, that was a Netflix release, so that wasn't really one that I saw in the theater. So it might still be the Magnificent Seven. Don't worry, we're gonna scrape it down enough to where we figure out what the last damn Western was in the movie theater. But yeah, Magnificent Seven was good. So yeah, you're number two, eight
Okay,
movie.
my number two with the number eight in the title. I'm gonna go with Eminem and 8 Mile.
Oh yeah,
His semi biopic of his life and how he came up. Man, Brittany Murphy's amazing in this movie. Uh,
she's nasty.
she's nasty in this movie.
I mean, all due
uh,
respect. Her
yeah,
character, not her. Not
yes.
trying to besmirch the dead here.
Oh man, Kim Basinger, sorry, as the mom, Mackay Pfeiffer, like really good,
Anthony
pretty decent
Mackie, like,
cast. Anthony Mackie,
wow, where did he start?
yeah. So it was a good cast for this movie. Um, Obviously coming off the rise and super popularity of Eminem, when he kind of, I don't know, I would say this is prime because he was not new.
No,
And
it was
I think this
02.
came out in '02. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, he was still, like I said, I think in his prime, everybody was really into what he was doing. And man, this movie comes out and it just kills. Everybody just gets that much more uh, excited about Eminem, in which he's about to drop a new album called "The Death of Slim Shady."
Oh, no.
Uh, yeah, apparently it's this album is going to be about how he
He's gonna
turned,
die? Oh.
how he's gonna die. No, how his music life has turned. Like, when he first came out, like it was a bunch of like funny rap, like
Mhm.
making fun of shit and tearing people down and this and that. And now it's I guess more serious. I don't know.
With
I don't
age
know how to
comes
explain it.
wisdom and maturity, Chris, that's all that it's
Yes,
about.
I guess,
You
but
know, it's funny because when that movie came out, I mean, for starters, it was pretty groundbreaking. It was a huge hit at the box office. It was the first movie to feature a hip hop song win the best original song at the Academy Awards, with
Mm,
that with "Lose Yourself" because he wrote that for the movie, and dude,
mhm,
that song just blew up, man. It was everywhere. I mean, it's a great song. I get it. Like, it's not like
mhm.
it was a pop song that just, oh god, this song again. No, anytime that song came on, we were blasting it, man, on the speakers and stuff. But no, that was a great movie. And I remember when it came out, I was like, "Oh, you're gonna go see that Eminem movie?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, because it's." This is where my mind goes. I'm like, it's director Curtis Hanson. He did, the River Wild and L.A. Confidential. Like, it's an
Mhm.
Academy Award nominated director making this movie. It isn't just some like buddy of Marshall Mathers where he's like, "Hey man,
But
let me give you a job directing." He wasn't like Hype Williams or anything like that. It was just
mhm.
somebody. Respect to Hype Williams, Belly. That movie's the shit. Anyway, but
Oh, I
eight
love Billy.
millimeter. It just
8 Mile, not 8
wait.
millimeter.
8 millimeter. Damn it! I forgot my metrics. See, all these eights are confusing, Chris. 88 miles. Oh, that's
There you
that
go.
Mark Wahlberg movie, isn't it? 88 miles or something like that. 88 mile, the one that just came out
Uh,
with Ronda Rousey, where yeah, I think that's what it's called. Anyway, but
we'll see.
but yeah, 8 Mile. That's a great pick, man. That's just a good movie in general, like regardless of what who starred in it. But I can't find it. But yeah, anyway, so
Yep.
okay. Any more thoughts on 8 Mile?
No, just you get one shot. That's it.
Mom spaghetti. um, all right,
Could go
so
for some spaghetti
it
right now.
sounds delicious. So, do you have any honorable mentions before we round out our number ones?
I just have one.
Okay.
And I debated Stephen prior to us hitting record could see the distress in my face and in my voice
Hmm.
of me not putting this movie on my list, but Fast 8.
The
I have to
struggle
give a
was
shout out
real.
to. It was. But I could not put Fast 8 above 8 Men Out. So,
Well, I will say that you get a pass on it because it was called The Fate and the Furious. So, the way that it implemented 8 was interesting, but I think you get a pass on it. So I think that's
okay.
okay to omit that one because they did have like Fast 9. And I was like, I liked how they were actually renaming some of like the Fate and the Furious or the Fate of the
Hmm.
Furious. I was like, that's interesting play on the number 8. Like, that's clever. And then they just went on to do F9. The Fast song. I'm like, what? That's so lazy. But yeah, so you're good. I think you're good there. So you get
And then
that back.
X. And
Yeah,
then X.
Fast X and Fast X Part 2. I'm like, come on, just end it. Jeez. Cars ran out of gas already.
No, it has not.
All right.
If it has run out of gas, you still have family.
Family. um so a couple of honorable mentions that I'm shocked you didn't say 8 Days a Week from the director of 100 Girls, where the
Uh,
kid just camps out in front of Carrie Russell's house until she falls in love with him. Spoilers, she does. you know. Um,
duh.
the 8 Crazy Nights, Adam Sandler's first animated film that came out like '02. That was pretty funny. I brought up this as a joke, but Eight Heads in a Duffel Bag with Joe Pesci. I thought you had known what that movie was, but I
No,
guess
man.
not. Oh, okay. So in the mid '90s, Joe Pesci was a hitman, and he's in this like weird screwball comedy called Eight Heads in a Duffel Bag, which is literal. He's collecting these heads for his boss because he's a hitman, and just a goofy, weird black comedy. Always like that movie. Eight with the little aliens, the animated feature from Timur Bektamov. I can't ever say his name. Went on to do Night Watch, Wanted. Eight and a Half, which is a classic film from the '60s. That's actually classic, is to put it underrated. I mean, a lot of films have taken so many elements of the story. Eight and a Half.
Hmm.
It's actually on HBO Max. I was gonna rewatch that. Yeah, man, I think that's all I really had. There's a lot of other like when we were looking up 8 movies, like there's a lot of random stuff that I'd never even heard of before in my life. So I was like, well, I'm not even gonna talk about that one. But
Now,
where's that list? I'm gonna pull up
where's
that
that
list. Pull up
list?
that list I had. Eight Below. speaking of Paul Walker, that one where he was with the race the wolves in the snow.
Yes.
Um,
Um, 80
8 million
for
ways.
Brady. Does that really count though?
Yes.
That's 80, not
Hey, I
8.
said that's part of the rules. You can have see,
Oh,
there's this one's
okay.
called 8,000 Miles from '09. I've never even heard of that movie, but um Eighth Grade was actually a really good movie from A24. That actress Elsie Fisher, she was just in Barry. I just saw her in that. We were like, what was she from? She was
Hmm.
from that movie Eighth Grade. Really good movie. I think that's about it, man. Other than our number ones, I think we counted out the more important ones. So I
I
guess
think so.
with that being said, man, I'm gonna go ahead and do mine because I'm gonna leave yours on a little bit of taste. And
Okay.
mine, because mine is Eight Legged Freaks. There's no surprise there. It's been on a couple of my lists before.
Mhm.
Monster movies, spider movies. Eight Legged Freaks encapsulates so many different topics. And it of course takes the top here because I really love that movie. Super stupid, of course, but David Arquette stars as this guy who, goes back to a small town to sell off his property that a lot of people want. And in doing so, this radioactive plant gets exploded and spews sewage all over these spiders. And they, yeah, in traditional fashion, they get big and start killing people. That's really it. That's all you need.
That's all you need.
And that's all I'm really going to say about it. I actually think it's on Max too. If you want to watch Eight Legged Freaks, it's actually pretty funny. It's a pretty good movie. Kind of throwback on like Trimmers and those monster movies of the '60s and '70s.
Doing it after we hit stop.
All right, sir. So please, you're number one.
All right, my number one, I'm going back to 1994. And Luke Perry, rest in peace, my friend. But the movie is 8 Seconds.
Oh
The
man,
movie about the life and times of Lane Frost, um, which he was a bull rider in 1987. So that doubles
perfect.
down to 8.
Yeah.
Um, and man, this movie, it's I think it stands the test of time. I mean, I could sit
Hmm.
down and watch it today and still be entertained and intrigued and cry at the end every freaking time
Yeah.
because it's just his story is just one of those of heartbreak and trials and tribulations, and then at the end,
Triumph
triumph. Well, kind of,
for at a time,
yeah.
not at the
uh,
end.
not at the very end, but Um, but man, yeah, this is. I, I think it's one of Luke Perry's best movies he's ever done, if not the
Well,
best.
he didn't really have that many. I mean, what is this? What else did he do? Buffy? I can't think of any other
Oh,
Luke
he was
Perry movies.
badass in Buffy, bro.
Yeah, Pike. Actually, he was kind of a goof. I remembered when I watched it, I was thinking, "Oh man, Luke Perry, he's gonna be no." They played him up as pretty dumb, and I think that was intentional too because he was like, "No, I want to get away from Dylan. I want to have some fun," which he did. But
Yeah,
um,
he was in like
the
a
Fifth
Sandlot
Element,
movie.
was he a sequel or
Yeah,
what?
it was like part 3 when it was a girls softball team or some shit.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry. I forgot how prestigious his career got.
Hey,
You know what was
I,
weird too was like the opening scene of The Fifth Element when it takes place in Egypt, I think in like the 1700s or something. He just has one
mhm.
random part in that, almost like a cameo role in that. I'm like, okay, so I guess that's a wrap on Luke Perry for this movie. But no, but back to 8 Seconds. That movie is really good because it was directed by John G. Alvison, who directed Rocky, The Karate Kid. Kind of makes sense at this point.
Oh, yeah,
Lean on me.
now it's yeah,
But
that's the same.
dude, the scene where the bull steps on his nuts was probably the most. I think that was more brutal than what happens at the end, personally, because oh my god, I never forgot, and it's so fast too when it happens in the movie. But
Oh yeah.
and of course you're gonna pick 8 seconds, you country bumpkin. That's not set in Texas, is it, or is it Oklahoma? I don't remember where it's set, but I thought it was Texas.
Uh,
I don't know.
I think it's Texas.
We're gonna have to do a whole biography of Lane Frost.
Down. Maybe next week we do our favorite Luke Perry movies.
I think we just finished. I
Oh,
think
there's
this
only one.
well then this will serve as a double episode then because
There you go.
I think we wrapped them up, man. You know, I almost said cool as ice, but obviously that's vanilla ice. It's those sideburns back in the day, man. They always confuse me. Like the
They
Brandon
throw you
Walsh
off. Oh
sideburn, the
my gosh.
Priestleys. Man, those
Yes.
were cutting, man. But yeah, so
Mm.
any more thoughts on the brilliance that is 8 seconds in Luke Perry's
No,
career?
you just do like this at the end and do his little wave,
Yeah,
and that's it,
that's right.
and walk away.
Dude, I pulled up IMDb and literally all the known for on IMDb, like on the mobile setting, is the it shows the top 4 things that you're known for, right? It says
Mhm.
Beverly Hills 90210, The Fifth Element, Buffy, and 8 Seconds. I'm telling you,
There
man.
you go.
Oh, that's right. He was in Riverdale. He was the dad in Fred
Oh, he
Andrews in
was.
Riverdale. 47 episodes he was on that show. My goodness.
Dang.
Um, yeah, a lot of direct to DVD and
Hey,
oh
do not
boy.
speak ill of the dead, my friend.
I'm
Come
not
on.
trying, man.
Come on.
I'm pissing on Perry and Brittany Murphy on this episode. What a
I
jerk.
know.
Sorry about that to all the fan base out there. Oh yeah, this is brutal, man. He's in a lot.
Sandlot 3,
He's
baby.
he is in a lot of stuff, and my lord. Oh yeah, here it is. You're
It's
right.
not
Sandlot.
good.
It's called The Sandlot Heading Home with the girls softball
Oh,
team. That was in 2007. Man, Chris, you
damn.
got a finger on the pulse, my man.
The Perry Pulse.
The pulse of Perry. Damn. Yeah, that dude, this is sad. I'm gonna turn that off. I don't want to look at that anymore. I'm
So we're
already
going just out on top with Luke Perry in 8 seconds.
right, yeah. Let's do that instead. No, but seriously though, that's a great pick. 8 seconds, perfect title, perfect way to end the podcast with our picks for our 8th anniversary. Happy anniversary to you
Man,
and
8 years, bro.
8 years.
Honestly, uh, right now, do you think we'd make 8 years? Do you think we'll make 10?
Oh yeah. At this point, yeah. I think, once we get into that groove like we did, and
Mm-hmm.
we'll always be here to hold it down. And there were times where we had some lulls, but we were still dropping episodes, maybe not weekly, but we were getting
Right.
in there at least once a month just to kind of keep it in there. And man, I kind of wanted to apologize to the fan base who stayed loyal to us, because they came back and dropping off like that's not good because you always want to stay consistent in this game. And
Yeah.
but also it's just one of those things where if things come from it, cool. But in the end, I think another reason why this will continue to go on is because it's just fun to do. It's a nice thing to do. It's cool to put something out there like this. And shit, man, I can talk about movies all day, every day. So it doesn't mean anything for me to just record ourselves doing it. So
Right. Dude, on it. Okay, and I'm being 100% honest. I thought we'd last like 4 years, and that's it.
yeah.
Um, especially in some of our, like you said, our low years, especially when I got super busy and there was, I mean, you definitely held it down for us and just kept plugging away, which is freaking awesome. And then we get this renewed spirit when we start recording again on a regular basis like we are now. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I think we're hitting a stride again, and it's been fun getting a couple really awesome sponsors that we did get.
Mm-hmm.
And
The
it's
guests
just
have been great.
the guest, dude, the guest, man.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, that's, you know, not a knock on you. I love doing the show with you, but when we have guests, it's so much freaking fun.
Well,
And I
I don't know how
can't
that
wait
would be a knock on me. Like, I get it. I agree.
because I'm tired of talking to you. Damn.
Oh no, this is just like regular chit chat, you know. It's like when we have
Yeah.
guests, we have to be on our best behavior in terms of like preparation and stuff. But you know, that's just good. We don't want to.
Oh yes. Steven yells at me when I don't prepare when we have a guest. It's okay when it's just us two, but when we have a guest and I'm like, he's like, damn it,
Well,
Chris.
sometimes even when it's just us two, I'm like, "What the hell are you doing, man?"
I
It's
gave
funny.
you 7 days to get ready for this shit.
The little kid in the ring had more time to prepare. Like, what are you doing? But no, it's just funny. I don't know. I'm just a perfectionist. Plus, it's also not fair for me because I know I have such a back catalog of movies and stuff. Like, if you gave me a topic right now, we could do another episode on it, and I'd be ready to go.
You could do a
That's what I'm
you could
saying.
do an episode on it, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So I just, you know, I'm always like trying to give you a head
Unless
start.
unless we drop down into the TV genre, then I'm good to go
Oh,
there.
sure,
I could
sure.
always do that, and you know, shit. Let's go right now. What's our top 8 TV shows with the word 8?
uh, 8 is enough. I think that's all I got.
Party of 5 plus 3. Does that count?
Sure, that's
Or
funny.
are the best 8 episodes of a show
Oh my
Friends
god.
episode 8?
Season 1 episode season 2 episode 8. That would be an interesting study to go and look at the 8th episode of every season of Friends just to see what they were and where they ranked in terms of the entire season.
Or any show really. Like
Yeah.
now I want to go look at like what was the 8th episode season 1 of How I Met Your Mother. Like
Right.
how good was it?
Yeah.
Or Seinfeld or Frasier,
I'll tell you what,
the
8th
good shows.
I'll tell you what 8th season of a show sucked ass, and that was Game of Thrones. That's an 8 that I
Oh,
do
that
not
was
want to
bad.
talk about,
Yeah.
but that's funny.
Speaking of Game of Thrones, you ready for the new season?
Oh, of House of the Dragon? Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's funny because I'm not really highly anticipating it like I did any of the other previous seasons of Game of Thrones. I'm just kind of when it comes back, I'm like, cool, I'll watch it. I enjoyed the first season. Didn't set my world on fire or anything like that. No pun intended, or maybe a little intended. But I
It's always
it's
intended, don't
always
lie.
intended, yeah. But I just it was good. I thought it ended strong. It ended really strong. And I was like, okay,
Mhm.
now I'm a little bit more into it in the last 2 episodes of that season. I was like, okay, this is good stuff. And but yeah, I'm excited. Oh my god, I can't believe I didn't mention on headlines. They released Netflix released this little teaser of Liam Hemsworth as Geralt in The Witcher, and oh
Oh
my
yeah.
god, that dude got brutalized online, man. Just brutalized. And it wasn't really all him. It was also a lot of knocks on Netflix. They're like, "Why did you let this happen? Why did you continue the show? Just end the show then. If or just wait until Henry Cavill can become available." Because like look at shows like Game of Thrones or Stranger Things for even that. Like Stranger
Oh,
Things, when did season 4 even come out? I can't even remember. Has it's
8
been
years ago.
speaking of 8, yeah. That's right. Those kids are going to be 8 years older than when by the time we see them again. But it's just like why not just wait until Cavill's available? But then again, I think a lot of the problems with that were Henry Cavill had an issue with the storyline being taken so far away from the original material, and as a producer of the show, they told him that he would have some storyline credit, some they were going to listen to a lot of his ideas in terms of what they wanted to do with the plot of the series, but they just kind of
Yeah.
deviated away and went and did their own thing. He didn't agree and said, "You know what? That's fine. I'll just be off of the project." And they called his bluff because he's off of the project, and now, well, that's what we got. But yeah,
It's all right. It'll go on and we'll see how it goes. I don't know if it'll do good.
will it reach a season 8? Hell no.
Hell
I
no.
think that this is going to be
God
a
about that.
all right, sir. We'll send us on our way like Lane Frost. Sorry.
Does that mean we just die?
This was the last episode.
All right, everybody. Again, thank you so much for 8 years of listening, especially to our loyal listeners that have been with us since 2016.
Whew.
Man, it's been a fun ride. We appreciate every time you listen to us, and for the new ones that are here, buckle in because the next 8 years is going to be a lot better than the first eight. I don't
Yeah,
know, maybe.
why not?
I think so. I think so. But if you are new here, go ahead, hit the subscribe button so you can make sure you get notified every time we drop a new episode. And since you're here as well, wherever you're listening to it, go ahead and drop a review. 5 stars would be great. That just helps us get seen a little bit more on all the podcast platforms. Speaking of, we are on all of them. Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, just pretty much anywhere you can find a podcast, you will find the Screen Addicts podcast. And then over in social media land, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, all you got to do is search for the Screen Addicts podcast, look for our little thumbnail of our cover art, and that is us. Make sure you give us a follow. Steven does some awesome reviews over there on TikTok, on our TikTok page. And then we have an amazing private group as well over on Facebook. If you want to go and click, I don't know how to be a friend, add, get on our private group. It's called the Screen Addict Request. That's the damn word I was looking
It's been
for.
8 years and you can't figure out where to tell people to
Jesus.
go. It's been
Request.
eight long years, Chris.
Oh, I thought you were going to go 84 years like Titanic,
Oh
lady.
shit, that would have been better.
uh, anyway, go request to be a part of our private group. Call the Screen Addicts Fanatics on Facebook. That is where we're most active. Dropping all the trailers. As soon as we see them, we put them in that group. Memes and just news and information that is all about TVs and movies. So it's a great place to be. So go again, request to be part of the Screen Addicts Fanatics. We'd love for you to be one of our fanatics. As well as, if you ever have any questions, comments, you want to be part of the show one time, you can always email us at screenaddictspodcast@gmail.com. We are definitely reading those. So Trevor, don't worry, bro. We're getting to you, my friend.
He was
I
bullying
know.
me online, Chris, about the
Hey,
damn
I,
Kardashians. I'm not gonna watch that shit. I'm not gonna do it.
I, s- I saw that,
Sorry,
and
sorry.
you, Trevor, you're playing with fire there, my friend. Playing with
Speaking
fire.
of the hateful eight,
um. Uh, so yes, that is a great way to get a hold of us for sure. Is our
it
email?
worked.
It worked. It worked 100%. Uh, but as well, I mean, I think, is that it? No, that is not it.
You have a show.
Uh,
I have a show. I'll go
we
ahead.
have
Yeah,
shows.
my show, if you want to listen to it, it is the Real Problems podcast. I'm working on an episode that I'm going to be premiering this week. And, I'll go ahead and tell you what it is. Mad Max Fury Road. Holy crap. Just
Ooh,
a lot of stuff. Of course, because of Furiosa, wanted to go back and revisit Fury Road, one of the best movies of the last 10 years. And Real Problems is streaming on all available platforms as well. If you like to hear about movies and some of the crazy stuff that happened on the production of these movies, go ahead and follow that show. And Chris,
yes. I also have a show that I have started at my job. It is called the Boyd's Backyard Podcast, where I interview prominent pit masters, cooks, chefs around the Texas Panhandle here. So it is a little more location-y, but definitely if you want to hear about some of these old Texas pit masters, man, come on in, take a seat, have a drink, and join me in the Boyd's backyard.
sounds good. I like location-y. I'm going to use that in my vernacular forever.
I'm going to get a shirt made.
Sounds good.
But I think that is it for us tonight. Again, cheers, my friends, to 8 years.
Cheers.
Here's to the next 8. And as for me, good night.
Adios, amigos.